This is the ZNS Network, providing radio and high-definition television services for the entire Bahamas. ZNS Network is operated by the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. It is located at Harcourt Rusty Bethel Drive, Centerville, Nassau. Our programming is designed to inform, educate, and entertain. We invite you to join us.
The following is a preamble of the Constitution of the Bahamas, which was made on June 20th, 1973, and came into operation July 10th, 1973.
Whereas 481 years ago, the rediscovery of this family of islands, rocks and keys, heralded the rebirth of the New World. And whereas the people of this family of islands, recognizing that the preservation of their freedom will be guaranteed by a national commitment to self-discipline, industry, loyalty, unity, and an abiding respect for Christian values and the rule of law. Now, know we therefore, we the inheritors of and successors to this family of islands, recognizing the supremacy of God and believing in the fundamental rights and freedoms of the individual, do hereby proclaim in solemn praise the establishment of a free and democratic sovereign nation, founded on spiritual values, and in which no man, woman, or child shall ever be slave or bondsman to anyone, or their labor exploited, or their lives frustrated by deprivation, and do hereby provide by these articles for the indivisible unity and creation under God of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
Public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
The coronavirus has struck all around the world, and to some degree it's bringing the world to a stop. But that doesn't mean that your education has to stop. The Ministry of Education is making available to you learning through virtual learning platform. So go to the ministry's website, ministryoфeducationbahamas.com, and go on the button that says virtual learning and register today to participate in virtual learning. We will do our best to provide you an opportunity to continue your education. We only encourage you to make sure that you're disciplined and orderly as you go about ensuring that you take full advantage of this opportunity. Thank you very much.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas. This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School is closed, but we are not on vacation. We are staying at home to ensure we remain healthy and prevent the spread of COVID-19. Remember to regularly and thoroughly wash hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Maintain a safe distance between you and someone else with a cough or sneeze. Remember, it's safer and smarter.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
Influenza, or the flu as it is commonly called, is a viral illness that usually occurs between the months October to March. The virus is transmitted from person to person through coughing, sneezing, or talking. Symptoms include fever, cough, headache, runny nose, generalized body aches, and fatigue. There is no specific treatment for the flu, and the symptoms usually dissipate after 3 to 7 days. Because it is caused by a virus, antibiotics are not used to treat the flu. Persons are encouraged to rest and drink lots of fluids. Panadol is recommended for fever and body aches associated with the flu. However, aspirin should be avoided due to the risk of bleeding. To decrease the spread of flu, persons are encouraged to get their flu shot annually and practice good cough hygiene. Additional information can be provided by your community clinic or the Health Education Division at the Ministry of Health. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with the Public Hospitals Authority.
Hey, have you heard? ZNS is everywhere you are when you download the new ZNS app. Whether you're on the move or just kicking back. Miss something on the news? It's there. Want to keep up with a live update? It's there. Or just want to listen to your favorite station? It's there too. Download the app now from the App Store and Google Play Store.
The ZNS community page now has its own home on Channel 230. Be sure to tune into this channel to see informative notices, funeral announcements, birthday greetings, and much, much more. So watch the ZNS community channel today on Cable 230.
This public service announcement is brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
School is closed, but we are not on vacation. Often check the Ministry of Education's social media platform for accurate updates on your studies and national exams. These include the website at www.ministryofeducationbahamas.com and the Ministry of Education's Facebook page at Ministry of Education Bahamas or Twitter at Bahamas MOE. Do not listen to fake news. It's safer and smarter.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Communications section of the Ministry of Education in conjunction with the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Staying home as much as possible is our best weapon in the fight against COVID-19.
Isolation plays right into the hands of the perpetrators. That's what they want, to isolate the victims from help or from contact. We're taking every precaution that we could, putting everything, every measurement in place pertaining to us being virus-free.
Entire health teams wiped out. No recommendation for the further relaxation of restrictions. And here what the Labor Director reveals is his worst fear coming out of COVID-19. Good morning, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is your morning edition. The number of confirmed COVID-19 cases increases, and based on the long-term projections of what's called the Richards curve, there's every expectation this trend will not only continue, but be greater. Chief Advisor Dr. Mercelin Dal-Regis is basing this on what recently transpired in Medical Surgical Ward 2 of the Princess Margaret Hospital, whereby a patient was eventually found to have the virus. Add to that increased testing. It's that increased testing that's led to officials discovering another 2 cases, both women, one 50, the other 29 years. Now, sadly, there's also been another 2 deaths, 2 men, a 51 and a 53-year-old, pushing that number to 11. Here's what Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Dwayne Sands, disclosed during yesterday's press briefing.
15 of the 72 confirmed cases of COVID-19 are healthcare workers. There are 2 new recovered patients for a total now of 14 recovered. We have 9 hospitalized, 8 in New Providence at Doctors Hospital West, and 1 in Grand Bahama at the Rand Memorial Hospital.
April 24th, B Project. Just to backtrack a bit to what actually took place at PMH, according to the Minister, Sandlands Rehabilitation Center referred a patient from the Robert Smith unit to the hospital on April 5th. The patient was treated and discharged 10 days later, April 15th to be exact. Days later, the Medical Surgical Ward 2 of PMH declared a positive COVID-19 case. The ward was subsequently closed to new admissions on the 18th, and a day later, the said patient returned to be tested. On April 20th, it was confirmed that the patient had contracted the virus. He is receiving care at the Doctors Hospital West facility.
The remaining 39 patients at the Robert Smith unit at Sandlands were immediately placed in isolation and the unit was sanitized. 46 staff members at Sandilands were identified for risk exposure assessment. In total, more than 200 healthcare workers are in quarantine. However, we believe that upon completion of our risk assessment activity, this number is expected to be reduced dramatically. One staff member, 2 patients, and 2 registered nurses were quarantined for 14 days. Subsequently, all remaining patients on the medical surgical ward 2 were tested for COVID-19. Contact tracing and exposure assessments commenced for the people discharged from the ward and those who were in contact with the current patients on that ward. Currently, there are only 4 patients on the ward. 3 of the 4 remain in isolation and 1 remains on the open ward.
Now, apart from the increased cases and deaths, what's equally troubling to the minister is the number of healthcare workers forced to self-isolate.
We are recommending that there be no relaxation of the restrictions, no further relaxation of restrictions.
Dr. Sands acknowledging that this has a real negative impact on the ability to provide health care.
There are certain services which have been decimated. If you listen to the comments made by Dr. Loxley Monroe, a seasoned, experienced general surgeon, he speaks to the fact that his team has been reduced to 2. There are other services where almost entire teams are wiped out because persons have been sent home. Now, that said, not every person has had a high-risk exposure. And the process that is ongoing through employee health is to use the World Health Organization risk stratification to determine who is high risk, medium risk, low risk. And we expect that when that assessment is done, that a number of persons will be able to safely return to work at the Princess Margaret Hospital and at Sandilands Rehabilitation Center.
PMH's Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Carolyn Burnett, says they've been mitigating the situation to ensure there's adequate clinical coverage.
Before this all started, we put measures in place, including discharging as many patients as we could. So our census is quite low at this time at Princess Margaret. We have stopped elective surgery and all clinics, and therefore our workload was decreased. We skeletonized staff to prepare for a possible surge in COVID-19 cases. So we are coping and providing adequate clinical care at this time.
Now, these developments are all coming to light following a relaxation of restrictions. When asked if they suggest the Prime Minister revisit this, Dr. Dal Regis responded with this.
We are recommending that there be no relaxation of the restrictions, no further relaxation of restrictions.
Meantime, a significant number of Bahamians are placed in challenging circumstances as a result of COVID-19. This morning, our Lloyd Allen speaks with a relationship management expert about coping with these challenges.
Stark reality is resulting as a result of ongoing issues in the media. Leading the pack is COVID-19, and helping to navigate some of these feelings is relationship expert Dr. Wayne Thompson. Good morning, Dr. Thompson. How are you?
Good morning, Lloyd. It's a pleasure to be with you, and good morning to your guests in Bahamaland.
Obviously, across the nation, many persons faced with a number of issues, from dealing with academic progress with their children, unemployment, social assistance, so many issues. What are some of those emotions that many persons are feeling at this time?
A tremendous amount of stress, heightened anxiety, the feeling of not being able to keep up because all of a sudden now parents have to play multiple roles. And as a result of this, frustration levels are high. In addition to this, fear of the future, fear of income, fear of the loss of work.
And it's interesting that you've worded it as such. We talk about change. Now, while COVID-19 is something new for us, Dorian and its effects is nothing new. but compiled on each other. That situation, I think, is very new for a lot of people. And so, again, we've talked about some of those emotions that many persons are experiencing, but in line with that, what are some of those things that persons can do to actually get along?
The first thing that's important is we must all recognize that everyone is feeling a higher degree of frustration, a higher degree of anxiety. As a result of this, we must recognize that each individual needs to be given a bigger dose of patience and understanding. Lloyd, we are beings that are supposed to constantly be in movement. If we are stationary, that is going to create blockages, and those blockages will lead to frustrations, and those frustrations will lead to outbursts. Now, we know that what is unique about COVID-19 and distinctly different from Dorian is the fact that this one is affecting us not only health-wise, but also financial-wise. Secondly, it is not just one portion of the country, but the entire country. We have already begun to see massive redundancies and layoffs. More are coming. What I want people to understand, what is unique about COVID-19, it is now telling the world that we now must face the fourth industrial revolution. The fourth industrial revolution is going to fuse physical, digital, and biological worlds all into one. This is what is creating a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity. But what I want people to know, we've worked through 3 industrial revolutions. The fourth one will be no different from the previous 3. We do have the capacity to work through it. But to work through this, we've got to accept the fact that change is here to stay.
Earlier you mentioned the word fear, and prior we've spoken with some from the medical field who have indicated that the fear factor does in fact impact one's immune system and your ability to fight diseases like COVID-19. But from the psychological angle, again, you're talking about engagement. And so engaging with these changes is your recommendation in moving forward, yes?
Yes, absolutely. You see, if you don't engage with the change, your fear grows. So if your fear grows, you become more paralyzed. You affect your judgment, you affect your health, your immune, and everything. But if we face the fear with a positive mental attitude and recognize that the most advanced computer known to mankind is the mind, we have the capacity to make the transition. The future of work really means this, Lloyd. There are jobs out there that do not have a description, but in a very short while, those who make the adjustment will be carrying out those new jobs. This is the season for us to retool and to reskill ourselves. Failure to do so will simply lead to a complete meltdown, financially, relationally, emotionally, and spiritually.
Dr. Wayne Thompson, relationship expert, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day, Lloyd.
Reporting for the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, the lockdown and isolation initiatives impacting some individuals in our community. The Bahamas Crisis Center now receiving a growing number of calls from persons seeking help from abuse. Director Dr. Sandra Dean Patterson is encouraging these people to continue to reach out.
I think the key for people to know is there is never an excuse for violence. There's never an excuse for abuse. And so if that is happening to you and you're frightened for yourself or your children, reach out to the police. The police have been fantastic in helping us with situations like this. And so it's important for people to know that they have options, that there are things that they can do. And so when we talk to people, we talk about safety plans, about things that they can do to make sure that they and their children are safe and are protected.
Well, Dean Patterson further explains how the COVID-19 challenges are impacting individuals and hence the consequences.
I think what we have to recognize is fear, anxiety, if you get very fearful about your circumstance, you are very stressed, you may have lost your job, you don't know if you're going to have enough money, so you become increasingly anxious. An uncontrolled anxiety can often result in rage, anger, whether it's psychological or physical. And so it's important to be aware that this can happen and to recognize the triggers in your relationships that had previously seemed to elicit, rouse or violence.
Now, those numbers to reach out are the Crisis Center hotline at 328-0922, or you can text or WhatsApp at 565-9633, or simply call social services at 322-2763 to report child abuse, or 422-2763. You're with the Morning Edition. There's more to come after this.
and I am 5 years old. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about the coronavirus. The coronavirus is a little tiny invader that gets into your body and makes you really, really sick. Some people get over it, some people don't. This virus is so tricky, it makes you think you have the flu. So you may experience a high fever, difficulty breathing, and tiredness. But don't worry. Here are some steps to protect you from the coronavirus. Step 1, wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If you don't have soap and water, use hand sanitizer. Step 2, if you need to cough or sneeze, do it in your elbow. Achoo! Step 3, avoid touching your eyes, your nose, and your mouth. Step 4, eat healthy foods to make you big and strong. Step 5, listen to your mommies and daddies to keep you safe from the coronavirus. Bye, be safe, stay inside.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and Bahamas Information Services.
COVID-19 claiming the lives of thousands of seniors worldwide. As one of the most vulnerable groups, stringent safety measures must be taken, particularly in the case of nursing home residents. These facilities then are not allowed to accommodate any in-person visitors. Hygiene requirements must be enforced. Physical distancing and barrier nursing must also be adhered to. Apart from that, personal protective equipment, including masks and gloves, must be worn. Well, we spoke with the proprietor of Pat's Senior Citizens Home, Patricia Moxie, on how her facility is coping.
At senior citizen home, we absolutely abiding by all the rules that the minister put in place, along with the Ministry of Health. We abiding by all the rules. We're not letting up on anybody. We know that people want to see their loved ones. You know, they can call them, those who have phones, they can call them if they want to. Some of them, they come. Well, the way the home is really situated is almost like a hospital setup, so you can see your patients from through the window. You don't even have to come inside. So that's a good thing for us. But other than that, we're not letting anybody inside. And even the staff, when they come on, they don't leave until they're going home for good.
Moxie says the home is accommodating 32 residents. Those seniors requiring daycare services are not being accommodated due to COVID-19.
They must wear their masks. They must sanitize before they come in. Their mask is put on before they get to the door. As a matter of fact, the nurse in charge, we have her testing everybody that comes, and she makes sure their temperature is in the right setting. They have on their masks, and those who have to wear the caps, they wear the caps. We spray the feet, and if they want to put on the booties, they can put the booties on over their shoes. We're taking every precaution that we could, putting everything, every measurement in place pertaining to us being virus-free. We just have to abide by the rules, and whether they like it or not, if that's the rules of the land, then we got to go by it. Most of the things that we try to put in place, too, is to help. We try to push a lot of food with them, a lot of vegetable-type meals, a lot of fruits. We give them a lot of B12 and cod liver oil. We try to keep it with that as much as possible. You know, that seems to be the healthy way to go for them. And then we also, what we do, we give them a lot of fever grass tea, a lot of pear leaf tea, a lot of herbal tea. We go along with those type of meals.
Well, with businesses bowing to COVID pressure, thousands are left to question how much longer before workplaces truly open, or would they have economically survived such a setback to even do so? To that, Labor Director John Pinder says his biggest fear is that not everyone who has been laid off during the COVID-19 crisis will be rehired.
I believe some business owners going to take this opportunity to right-size or downsize. I believe they're going to take the opportunity to, probably retire people now and bring in younger people. Secondly, we have to ensure that we sharpen our skills. I think the main thing the aim is have to realize, we can no longer be in a position where you can just depend on one skill. We have to have multiple skills. And we have to be prepared to, carry more than just one task in a workplace to survive and to be able to cause yourself to make it very difficult for an employer to want to separate from you. So we have to look at these things, multitasking will be the way forward coming out of these crises. We have to be able to multitask, do more than one thing.
Well, with so many out of work, the country's jobless rate is expected to reach a staggering percentage of between the late 20s and early 30s, according to Pinder's prediction.
So I believe we have to now create more entrepreneurs. I would have seen a number of persons, and you would get yourself witness the amount of persons who started making the face masks, and some people even making a headpiece to match it. What the government may have to do is relax the business laws right now to allow for entrepreneurs to get into business. Again, there's the digital jobs out there that's going to be critical coming out of this. A lot of people still may not be able to open shop the way they used to. We still have to be practicing some social distances. And so you're looking at a person who have to probably be doing working from home. So you need to sharpen your skills as relates to the digital aspect of jobs that are going to be available. We have to look at more persons now in getting into farming and fishing.
Meantime, COVID-19 forcing the Road Traffic Department to adjust its services in order to accommodate the licensing and inspection of motor vehicles. Controller Bradley Sands says the process allows an individual to obtain such services from the comfort of their vehicles with little interaction.
It starts with the inspection. Once you pass the inspection, the officer will then remove your license disc. We'll take it to the inspector, who will write up your inspection slip. as mentioned in the past, you got out of your vehicle, you don't have to get out of your vehicle no more. You then return to your vehicle with that inspection slip along with your license list. You will drive into the stadium where the road traffic department has put in place 3 lines, 2 lines for vehicle inspection, 1 line for the renewal of driver's license. Once inside the establishment, you are met by a road traffic runner who is identified by a road traffic shirt, as well as it may be a staff member that may have an ID on them. They will collect your items from you. They will go inside to the customer service rep, who in turn will register or license your vehicle and renew your driver's license. Once that process is completed, then the runner will then proceed back on the outside where you are given a bill. If you are paying by cash, the runner will collect their money from you, go inside, pay the necessary funds to the cashier, and return with your receipt, as well with your driver's license / new plates, whatever documents you require. If you are paying with a credit card, you are allowed to park on the eastern side of the building where you exit your vehicle. You are escorted on the inside by, again, that same runner that was assisting you. And once there's no more than 4 persons in the cashier's area, you're allowed to go inside and pay for whatever process was done. Once that is completed, you then enter your vehicle and you are allowed to exit through the northern gate.
Additionally, those who are on the front line of the COVID-19 pandemic can obtain special services from the Road Traffic Department.
It is the intention of the Road Traffic Department, again, keeping with the emergency orders of the Prime Minister, is that frontline essential workers are allowed to go to the food store on Saturday. And so if they are minded to license their vehicles on Saturday, the Road Traffic Department is able and minded to assist them. No pressure on them. They don't need to be concerned about these long lines during the course of the week. If they want to license their vehicles, the Road Traffic Department will be open on Saturday between the hours, between the hours of 9 to 1 to accommodate the persons that are on the front line of this battle.
Well, we now go to our Lloyd Allen, who's standing by at an accident this morning in the Marathon area.
Yes, good morning, Makusha. Good morning, Bahamas. This morning we're reporting an accident occurring in the area of Old Trail and Robinson Road. And this is the eastern bound lane. Now, according to those persons involved in the accident, it occurred shortly after 8 a.m. Now, we're not sure about the details yet on how the accident occurred. However, as you can see right behind me, a traffic light was damaged as well as a CCTV, according to persons involved in the accident as well. At least one person is showing signs of distress. Emergency personnel have already been contacted and an ambulance, so we've been told, is on the way. Police, as you can see behind me, are also on the scene. Now, in regards to traffic flow in this area, the western bound flow of traffic is running nice and smoothly, but for the eastern bound traffic, there is some obstruction. And so if you do happen to come into this area, be aware that this accident is still under investigations by officers, active investigation, and so you'd want to approach with caution and with care. This morning reporting traffic report from the area of Old Trail and Robinson Road, Lloyd Allen for the morning edition. Makushla, back to you in studio.
Well, we'll have much more for you when the morning edition returns.
Self-isolation means taking simple steps to avoid close contact with other people as much as possible, as you would with the seasonal flu. If you've been in close contact with somebody confirmed with COVID-19 or suspect that you have it, self-isolate for 14 days. You can self-isolate by staying indoors and away from family for 14 days. Choose a well-ventilated room with a closed door. Household members should stay in a different room, or if that is not possible, maintain a distance of at least 3 feet. Use a sealed waste basket and double bag your waste before disposal. Limit movement in your house. Stay in your assigned space away from the rest of the household. The caretaker will bring food and anything else you need. Use separate cookery and cutlery. Use a separate bathroom and clean it regularly. Use separate towels, separate cleaning linens, and clothing. If you are in need of care by household members, limit the number of caregivers. Assign one person who is in good health and has minimum risk conditions. Most importantly, remember, do not invite others over. Should you or anyone you know feel that you've been exposed to the coronavirus, contact the COVID-19 hotline at the Ministry of Health immediately. To reach us, call 376-9350, 376-9387, 300-2619, or our 24-hour hotline at 502-7382. For more information, visit covid19.gov.bs.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Health and this television station.
Abuse, domestic violence, suicidal tendencies. Are you being stressed out from these problems? Call the national hotline at 422-2763 or 322-2763. There are trained social workers available 24 hours to help you. Know that you are not alone in this.
Another weekend of lockdown, something some may be getting used to, but just how are we spending this time? Charles Fisher tried to find out.
We are headed into another weekend of a lockdown, something that's become the norm. I guess many of you then have your weekend planned out.
I'll be spending some time resting, praying, reading the Bible, also catching up on reading some other materials. I'm not a movie person, but I may catch up on a few movies to pass time.
It consists of more video conferences rather than face-to-face meetings.
Some of us have been using this time to find ourselves, so to speak.
Time has allotted me the opportunity to think, meditate, focus, and reconstruct how I must now formulate and manage finances. And put in perspective the things that are most important. Thinking about family structure, budgeting, our economy as a nation has shifted where I must now evaluate how to survive during this period of testing.
One thing is for sure, if you want to get back to normal life, you will have to abide by the rules and stay home.
Important and necessary if we are going to have success in beating this common enemy. The most important goal at this time is to prevent the spread of the disease in our country and allow us to return to a normal way of life that is safe for us all.
If the weekend lockdowns are assisting the authorities in being able to make their detection and, get a handle of this virus, then I think it should be continued. And everybody just follow the protocols, follow the rules, let us all cooperate. Be safe, practice social distancing when you're out. If you feel like you touch something that you shouldn't touch, wash your hands, wear your face mask in public, and let us all just be safe.
Listen, it's only for a while, and guess what? You're going to save lives, and the life you save may very well be your own. So stay at home. Listen, we are our brother's keeper, and it all boils down to love. If you love your brother, you'll stay at home, Bahamas. Please be safe.
So, what are your plans for this weekend? I'd like to know. For the Morning Edition, I'm Charles Fisher.
Well, a special treat over in Long Island for frontline workers. Area MP Adrian Gibson treated the group to a surprise lunch that was delivered to their workplaces yesterday. The MP says he wanted to recognize and thank the employees for their professional, efficient, and selfless services during this difficult time. Also, the Member of Parliament from Mount Moriah and his team making a special donation to the Good Samaritan Home for the Aged. The team, led by the MP, Marvin Dames, presented a sizable donation of food items and cleaning supplies to the facility. Mr. Dames assured his group will continue to support the home for its works in the Yellow Elder community. Now, to motivate you this morning, we turn to Dr. Julian Russell of Missionary Covenant Life Presbyterian Church.
It's taken from Jeremiah chapter 29, beginning at verse 4. And the Lord writes a letter to the children of Israel, and he says, "Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, to all the ones whom I have sent into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon." The reason I brought this up is we are living in times that are not normal. These are not normal times for us. And I don't know if anybody saw this coming, but like Israel, going into exile, they had to live for 70 years in times that were not normal for them. So I want us to see the similarities. So God says, I am sending you into exile. And verse 5, he says, build houses and live in them, plant gardens and eat their produce. Take wives and have sons and daughters. Take wives for your sons and daughters and give your daughters in marriage that they may bear sons and daughters. Multiply there and do not decrease, but seek the welfare of the city where I have sent you into exile and pray for the Lord on its behalf. For in its welfare, you will find your peace, your welfare. So the Lord is telling Israel, hey, there's going to be a new normal because I'm sending you into exile. I'm sending you into Babylon. And in similar language, the Lord has told us, his people, that this is a new normal. I've permitted something to happen to you that is unprecedented in nature. It's a new normal. And so get used to the new normal. And the new normal is really Jesus, my friends. But here's the word of hope I want to give you this morning, and it's taken from verse 10 of Jeremiah 29. For thus says the Lord, when 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will visit you, and I will fulfill to you my promise and bring you back to this place. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans for wholeness and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. That's the sovereign Lord talking. That's someone who's in charge. And even though things don't look well right now, we take comfort in the fact that the one who says to you that I am sending you into exile to Babylon, I will bring you back after 70 years. So the Lord who has allowed this COVID pandemic to take hold of us, to really arrest us and to cause us to live a new normal, is the one who is telling us today, take comfort in the fact that this doesn't catch me up by surprise, for I know the plans I have for you. Some of us may never come out of this side of heaven. So what if we lose everything and go to be with Jesus? To die is gain. But for the rest of us whom he allows to come out of this, remember and lament what has been normal. And take advantage of every minute of your life. Redeem the time because the days are evil. The Lord who sent you into this, who has allowed you to go and live the way you live it, is the same Lord who's going to take you out of this. Wait on the Lord and be of good courage. Wait, David says, and I join on the Lord.
Welcome to Sunshine Auto, your hottest place on the planet for rims, tints, tires, and auto sales. We are your auto superstore for rims, Lexani, Azaras, Trueform, Western, Lux, Fuel, Track Lights, Tough, Rough Racing, Velocity, Mud, All-Terrain, and low-profile tires, cars, homes, and commercial window tinting. At Sunshine Auto, we put God first and customer is king. Blessed luck.
Let's get it right, Bahamas. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay 6 feet apart. Remember to always practice physical distancing.
This public service announcement was brought to you by the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Culture and this television station.
When you respond to the word of God and you begin to speak the word of God and you begin to live the word of God and you begin to act out on the word of God, you will find that there will be a transformed life. And when there is a transformed life, there will be a transformed home. And when there's a transformed home, there'll be a transformed church. And when there's a transformed church, there'll be a transformed community. I'm telling you, you have to respond to the word.
Let's stay COVID-free. Remember the 3 S's. Sanitize, social distance, and stay inside.
Now to today's workout session, and for that we turn to Natasha Brown.
Good morning, guys. Friday is here. Today is your workout. If you are ready, get up off of that couch, because we got to make this workout happen today. I've got 3 exercises for you. It's burpees, and I've brought back my 6-inch block. We're going to finish that with abs. Ready? Let's go ahead and start stretching.
I'm Arthur Bailey, apostle and overseer of Arthur Bailey Ministries and House of Israel International, inviting you to join us for Searching the Scriptures on this station every Sunday at 9 a.m. I look forward to searching the Scriptures with you and your family. That's 9 a.m. on Sunday. Check it out, and your life will never be the same in Yeshua's name.
COVID-19 continues to impact the Bahamas and the world.
The Ministry of Health has confirmed 5 cases of COVID-19 in the Bahamas.
ZNS Network is here to keep you informed on this growing pandemic.
We are in a race against time.
With team coverage, hourly updates, news, and special reports with information that is important to you. ZNS Network is your best choice for COVID-19 coverage. No other station covers the Bahamas better.
Weather Report is sponsored by Bank of the Bahamas, the bank of solutions.
In the weather forecast, a ridge of high pressure is supporting moderate to fresh breezes across the islands, while some unsettled weather is expected across the extreme northern Bahamas today as a cold front moves over central Florida. Now, boaters in the northwest Bahamas should remain vigilant for possible waterspout activity. There is the risk of rip currents along the eastern shorelines in the southeast Bahamas. In the northwest and central Bahamas, the weather is partly cloudy, hot and breezy today with isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in the extreme northwest Bahamas. Partly cloudy and warm with isolated showers tonight. A small craft caution is in effect. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. In the southeast Bahamas, the weather is partly sunny, hot and breezy with the chance of a stray shower or two, fair and breezy tonight. There's a high temperature today of 91 degrees Fahrenheit and a low temperature tonight of 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Now on to those home videos. Well, just a reminder to keep those videos and pictures coming in on how you're passing the time in the government-imposed lockdown, or if you want to salute those on the front line. The number is 477-0546. Now, remember to stay tuned to the ZNS Network, your best choice for local, regional, and international COVID-19 coverage. We are the only station providing you with live radio and television updates throughout the day, giving you up-to-the-minute information. Our coverage continues at 10 on radio and then at 2 on the television network. And before we leave, we'd like to extend birthday blessings to Terrell McCoy, who's celebrating her 12th birthday today. Good morning, everyone.
You got to make the best of what you have in front of you. And that's some of our problems. We don't know how to make the best of what we've got. You keep on looking out the window and seeing something better. And you think if you get that, that's what's going to make your, oh Lord, this is what's going to make your life better. But I need to tell you, you need to make the best of who you are.
Join us this and every Sunday at 8:30 a.m. for Faith Touch on ZNS TV 13.
But my technology journey was sparked by a love for innovation and my passion to see students engaged while learning. My role as an educator is pivotal in stimulating the interest of my students. Our sector is marked by a pressing need for a wide range of ICT talents. This means that highly qualified women in technical fields have significant opportunities available to them. Girls, reach that glass ceiling and shatter it. Dream, explore, and innovate. My name is Ramona Wells, and I'm a girl in ICT.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
You and Your Money is brought to you by Star General, the Bahamas Institute of Chartered Accountants, the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas, and Fidelity.
Good evening, and welcome to You and Your Money. I'm your host, Javon Butler, and we thank you for joining us this evening. Over the last 3 months, Bahamians were introduced to new phrases due to the COVID-19 pandemic, including social distancing, contact tracing, flattening the curve, and person-to-person spreads. To exacerbate the underlying health anxiety felt by most Bahamians, familiar financial terminologies have been added to the conversation, including credit downgrade, currency devaluation, and economic diversification.